Hey everybody, today we're going to do a oil change and diff, both front and back diffs on the 2022 KRX 1000. There she is, the Hulk machine. That's what you're going to need. So Kawasaki came out with a new kit. Back when I first started buying kits, they were just the regular non-synthetic, and they came out with this KPO. At least I think they just came out with it. First time I've ever seen it. It's a full synthetic. Comes with 4 quarts. Comes with your little gaskets for the oil filler nut or bolt, and oil filter, and funnel, and some gloves. And then for the diffs, I'm using the Lucas 8090. Then I got this nifty little thing off of Amazon. We'll see how this works. It's a pumper, so that way you're not spilling diff fluid everywhere. You're going to need the 17 for the motor plug, and you're going to need a 27 for to fill the front and rear diff. And I highly recommend the 6-point, not the 12-point, because you will strip it off. It just doesn't fit well on there. Obviously ratchet extension, and then the H6 for the drain plugs on the front and rear diff. All right, let's get going. We'll do the oil first. All right, right here is the motor drain plug. It's be the second hole up from the back. Should not be on there very tight unless you over tightened it last time you changed it, or the dealership over tightened it, which you never know. You never know. Oil still looks pretty good, actually. I just like to change it every couple rides just to be safe. I got the Kawasaki warranty, but I'd rather not have my machine in the shop for 2 months. Cheaper, oil is cheaper than motor replacement. So we'll let that drain out. We'll get the gasket off here. Doesn't look like it's even on there. Maybe it's stuck on the motor. Maybe. We'll see once it drains out. Well, that's draining. We'll go ahead and get the oil filter off, which is always another mess because they put them in the stupidest spots on these. And I like changing the oil on the trailer for some reason. It's just easier for me. I'm a big boy, so it's easier for me to get up and down on the trailer for some reason. I don't know. Maybe it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. Also, crack your fill tube or your fill hole, whatever you want to call it. All right, and there is the oil filter. So last one I put on here was a K&N, and it has the socket thing on there. So I don't believe the stock ones, the Kawasaki brand, come with them. We'll find out in a second. But that makes it a lot more easier to come off. I just bought the kit, so next time I think I'm just gonna stick with the K&N. All right, so I put some rags down there, or old shirt actually. This is also a 17 on here if you get the K&N one, or K&N filter. So it should come off fairly easy. Oh yeah, perfect. That's why these ones are nice. Oil's already coming. What a dumb spot. They're all like this, every damn machine that I worked on. All right. As you all know, if you've worked on anything, any kind of car, oil changes, make sure that O-ring comes off with the oil filter, or you'll be in a world of hurt. And your machine locks up out on the trail because there ain't no oil in it. Hopefully one of your buddies tells you that you're dropping oil everywhere, but you never know. Alright, I'll grab the other one and put it on. Alright, here's the new one. And you can see that it does not have the little nut on the end. I'm gonna lube it up. Now that it's all nice and slippery, can't get a good grip on it. You just got to be hand tight. No need to put a wrench or nothing on it. Clean up my mess. It'll all burn off in the trail. I ain't worried about it. But clean up the best I can. Alright. Now we'll fill it up. Oh, no we won't actually. Don't forget the drain plug. How about that? Alright. Install the plug. Here is the new washer that goes on there. So I couldn't find the other washer that was on here. So two things. Either it wasn't on here or it fell down in the oil before I could see it, but I don't think it was on here. But it never leaked, so whatever. I changed the oil last, so maybe I didn't have one. Can't even blame that on a dealer. I like changing my own stuff anyways. I don't really mess with the dealer unless I absolutely have to, unless it's something that I just want covered under warranty. I like working on my own stuff. I feel more comfortable, and it's good to learn your machine. So just snug that up. Don't hit it with the impact. Just needs to be snug. Ain't gonna leak. All right, there's the oil. Now we just gotta fill her up. All right, we're gonna fill it up with the oil now. It calls for 3.3 quarts. So what I like to do is just put 3 in there, start it, and then we're gonna use the old El Cheapo funnel just because it gave it to us. If you keep buying kits, you're just gonna have 15 of them laying around, so might as well use them. They work. And you can see the there's a little sight glass there that tells you just want to be between the two marks. You don't have to be too picky about it. Don't have to be all the way to the top. I wouldn't leave it at the bottom, but you know, just somewhere in between the two. That's the whole point of it. The sight glass is pretty nice. My Yamaha YZ did not have one. I had a actual dipstick, which is kind of a pain in the ass to get to because you had to take a cover off. And yeah, the sight glass is pretty awesome. Kind of takes the worry out of it. You can just quickly look down and fuck. All right, maybe it's not a good idea to use the El Cheapo or fill it slower, which is probably what the better idea is. Fill it slower. Jam it down in there a little more. Or hold it. And this is quart number 3. You can see the sight glass starting to fill up a little bit. And then don't be alarmed when you start it. That oil is going to disappear. Put your plug in. Sometimes that plug can be a pain in the ass because plastic going into aluminum. Sometimes they don't like to go in right, but that worked out pretty well. You can also lube it up a little bit with the oil, so that helps. running. See, that sight glass totally disappears the oil. Do not freak out. There's obviously oil in it. All right, all I do is let it run for 30 seconds. Shut it off. And then when you put that last quart in, you know, the 0.3 or whatever, you will be able to see it in the sight glass. So we'll take this back off. Put the old El Cheapo funnel back in there. I mean, you don't have to use the funnel if you think you're good enough. I mean, obviously I made a mess with the funnel, so I should have just tried it without the funnel. All right, 0.3 means whenever you see it in the middle of the sight glass. And I did make sure my trailer was level. All right, we're gonna roll with that. I'm gonna start it again. Make sure we're good. Might have to add just a little bit more, but I do see it in the sight glass. Don't want to overfill it. All right, we'll give that oil a second to settle, and then we'll see what it looks like. Might have to add a little more, but according to this, you know, that's the level it's at. So I actually used a little more than the 3.3, but we'll see. I want to say last time I did this oil change, I used almost 4 quarts, pretty close to it. So just clean up your mess, because you're gonna have a mess. If you don't, you're awesome. And that's that for the oil change. And I do see that that sight glass is not showing any oil, so I'm gonna add more. I see it starting to level off, but put a little more in there just to be safe. There we go. Now we're about halfway. I used about 3/4. 3.3. I don't know what that equals out to be. Not a math whiz. Little over 1/4. So 1/3 actually, right? For all my geniuses out there, 1/3. All right, there's the oil change. Easy peasy. All right, well, let it sit for about 15 minutes, and there it is. So we are about 3/4 full. So I'm happy with that. All right, onto the rear diff, since all my tools are right here. All right, diff is just as easy as the oil. Take your H6, little drain plug here. kind of dirty actually. This is the transmission and the shit. There's the washer. So maybe the oil didn't need a washer, which is weird. There's no gasket in there. And there's only one in the package. So we're gonna reuse that. And if you guys want to talk some shit, go ahead. Because obviously, I guess I don't know what I'm doing. But I really feel like they should both have washers, and the front should have a washer too. So there should have been 3 in that pack. Why wouldn't they? Ah, the smell of diff fluid knocked the wind out of you. All right, well that's draining. I'm gonna crack the fill, just so it all comes out, in case it's not airlocked or nothing, but I doubt it is. And that shouldn't be on there very tight either. They don't got to be crazy tight. Tight enough where water ain't gonna get in, but not tight enough where you're stripping things out. There's an O-ring that goes on there that fell off. So just make sure you put it back on. Mine fell right in the dirty skid plate. So there's the O-ring. Really weird that there wasn't a washer on that oil. But hey, I guess the engineers are engineers for a reason. They know why, but we're gonna roll with it. If it leaks, I'll just drain the oil. Waste another 60 bucks. All right, that's drained enough for me. I know the rear diff and the front diff don't take a whole lot, or transmission. Rear diff / transmission. The front barely takes any. Snug her up. Clean up your mess. You can check for leaks. And while I'm under here, I'm going to check the oil. Make sure that's not leaking. Since either I put a gasket on there that didn't need to be on there, or I didn't put one on there when I changed oil last time. So maybe you guys can let me know in a comment. But I just don't remember last time I did it. See any leaks, but we're gonna fire her up when I'm done anyways and let it run for a good 10 minutes just to let the oil get hot, and that's when it's gonna leak. If it's going to, everything expands a little bit. All right, let's fill this old girl up. All right, we're gonna fill it up now. Got my nifty little pump thing in there. I'll try to get in the film. There we go. So this, all you do is fill it till it comes out. Oh yeah, this is awesome. It's so much easier than trying to stick a bag in there. Them little Ames oil bags, you know, or the little hose that hooks onto your Little cord. This is sweet. Hose is sliding off. That was about to be not good. All right, I can see it starting to get there. We're on the threads now, and I'm gonna fill it till it just drips once, and there we are. This thing is awesome. It's got like a little check valve in there too. Make sure you clean your threads. Alright, this ain't got to be crazy tight, but you don't want it to take on water, so make sure it's tight enough. Mess. There's the rear diff. On to the front. Rear diff / trans. Alright, now we'll pull the drain plug off the front diff. With your H6 Allen. Ooh. All right, so there is no washer on this one. There is a washer. So why would the kit only come with one washer? If I'm supposed to put one on the front and the back and not the oil, only come with, I don't know, maybe the kit was wrong. But I feel like there should be one on all three, and we're rocking one on all three. So I'm just gonna reuse this one, make sure it don't leak. That diff fluid stinks. Like knocks the wind out of you. I'm gonna crack that top too, make it come on a little better. Kinda seems like it was pretty much empty. And again, there's an O-ring on that. It looked a little milky. It's definitely possible that this thing is got some water in it, because I have taken it swimming a few times. All right, that's good enough. Now it's dripping a little bit. Make sure your threads are clean on your drain plug. And apparently a gasket. There definitely was some water in that diff. I can actually see it on the bottom of the drain plug. The water that was in there. Alright, snug her up, not too bad. Alright, now we're going to fill it. And hopefully the camera stays there. Same as the back. Put your little tube in there. And just so focusing on the damn sway bar and not the there we go. Again, just pump her in there until it starts coming out. Same as the back. I let it fill the threads up. The front does not take a lot though. I already see it getting close. And I'll let it just do one little drip out, and then we'll call it good. And there it is. Put just a little more. It looks like it settled a little. There we go. Good with that. Make sure your O-ring's on there, clean the threads. This can be a pain in the ass sometimes. Get that nice and snug. That's that. There is the front diff. Front diff, rear diff / transmission, oil change. Easy peasy. Like I said, I'm gonna let it run for a half hour, 20 minutes or whatever, see if I got any leaks in that motor drain plug, especially since maybe it wasn't supposed to have a gasket. All right. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Remember, comment, like, subscribe. See ya.